Go. Go. I don't need no satisfaction.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
I thought you weren't going to sing the intro. I thought that's why we were redoing it, because you weren't going to sing it.
Is that do you not like me to sing the intros?
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's just, we've done. It's been done.
Oh. Well, this is who I am.
It's true.
It's everything to me.
Oh, what's that from?
American Dad.
Let's get right into it. Hi, everybody. My name's Kendra.
Hi, everyone. My name's John.
And welcome to Ringside. Welcome to another episode of Ringside.
There you go. Hey, you're getting the hang of it. It's like you've done this a time or two.
Yeah. Weird vibes.
So we've had a couple weeks off. We took a little hiatus. Yeah. Huh. We took a little hiatus only because two reasons. I had an acting gig. Woo! But also I was very sick, including through that acting gig.
That's true. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So I'm back in the land of the living. I'm here.
He was fine.
I was down and out. I had to take a couple days off work.
You did have to take time off of work, which is very rare.
Yeah. I usually power through that kind of stuff, but I just was not feeling good, brothers and sisters. So make sure you're taking care of yourselves. Listen to your body, okay?
Take your vitamins, gummy or otherwise.
Say your prayers.
I was talking to my therapist.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to describe to my therapist how delicious the gummy vitamins I take every day are, because I'm not gonna swallow big pills. I'm gonna take gummy vitamins like I have been since I was a kid.
And you know what? That's your God-given right as an adult American.
Exactly. That's what I was trying to convey to her. So the only other comparable gummy product is the opaque Scooby-Doo gummies that we got when we were kids that are like, there's more of a bite to it than a chew. Delicious. So I'm trying to explain this to her. On my dime, might I add, like I'm paying for this. And I was like, so how much do you know about gummies? Is what I said. And she was like, oh, like edibles? And I was like, I guess that's what like 30 and late 20s people would mean when they say gummies. I was like, no. I mean like gummy snacks.
Right.
Fuck. It's my life mission to make my therapist laugh and think that I'm like a cool hip person.
It's like what you do in your therapy sessions is what I do on the podcast. It's where I try all of my jokes that usually they don't land, and I acknowledge that.
Yeah. You've got a rough audience, being me, to be fair. But yeah, basically just like every therapy session, it's a 60-minute set. And I'm just trying my best material.
Pull out a notepad. Here's what I got for you today.
Here's what I got. I actually did bring a notepad once, but it wasn't jokes. It was like, am I a normal person for feeling all of these things? And she was like, yeah, you're fine. And I was like, oh, thank God. Some things she was like, that's not normal, actually. And I was like, well, I'm glad I know. But anyway, so if you're in the market for adult multivitamins and their gummies, I recommend Aldi, because Aldi's gummy multivitamins taste like the opaque Scooby-Doo gummy snacks from when we were kids in the 90s and early 2000s.
You know what's crazy about being like an adult in your 30s is just the random things that end up bringing you joy. Like, I've gone on record here talking about, I like to go work out, right? One of my favorite things to do after a good workout sesh is I find an excuse to go into Aldi because it's right next door.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, do we need peanut butter? Well, might as well shop around Aldi while I'm here.
Yeah. Aldi's great. Aldi's great.
You know the only thing I don't like, though? I get why they do it.
The bags?
I don't mind the bags.
The quarter.
The quarter for the fucking cart.
No, I get it. And I'm a fan of it, quite frankly.
I don't ever have loose change on me.
Yeah, because it's not the 80s, so why would you? But if you do have that quarter, it's nice. My mom, when we were growing up, she had an Aldi's quarter. It was one quarter, and she'd keep it in one spot in her car, and that was the Aldi quarter. It could not be spent. If we were going through tolls, not the Aldi quarter.
I mean, Aldi quarter.
Any other quarter. I remember being a kid and going, sorry, we're just getting really nostalgic. Like, racing 80 miles an hour toward a Did you crack your neck?
Yeah.
Great. Toward a toll booth, and my mom being like, quick, go in this change cup that we have in the car because it's 2003.
Right.
And pick out all of the quarters and nickels and dimes so we can get to the, what I assume was like a 25-cent toll. I don't know how much it was back in the day. They're expensive as shit now, but I just remember just like trying quickly. I'm 7, making change. Trying to figure out if we can make it through the tolls or if we're going to be pulled over by the police, which is what I thought happened. If you couldn't make the toll,
oh, no.
You go to jail.
Oh no! Yeah, my man, they didn't correct you.
No, I didn't tell anybody about it.
One time, not one time, all the time when I was in middle school. I'm sure it happened other times, but specifically I remember middle school, where my mom would send me to school and I would pay for my lunch, right? Mm-hmm. But she'd send me with only change.
Yeah.
And some weeks it was easier where I'd get like all quarters. But then there were some weeks where I got nickels and dimes.
Yeah.
Now when you're paying $2.25 in nickels and dimes, I will tell y'all, the lunch ladies, they have one of two reactions. They're either not very happy or they're just like, is this right?
Yeah, it's like an honor
nice about
system.
it,
They're like,
just
I'm not going to count it.
I'm just gonna trust you on this one.
So your school lunches were $2.25?
Something like that.
That's crazy.
It was just before the recession.
Yeah, my school.
I think it was $2.25. I don't remember.
I was on free or reduced lunch as a kid, so my lunches were like 10 cents or something crazy.
I was too, for the most part, until there was one brief period of time where my mom was a manager.
Oh, she was making too much money.
So she was, according to the
making too much money.
Yeah, she was making too much money for a free or reduced lunch. So we're just scraping by every fucking coin we can.
Yeah.
Just so I can get my chicken sandwich and my Gatorade.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the only thing that I had to pay for in elementary school, I think it was different once I got into middle school, I think I had to pay a little bit more for lunch, but in elementary school, I would bring an extra like 50 cents to get a cookie.
Yeah.
And their cookies,
the school cookies at my middle school were so good.
They were like so underbaked in the middle that they were like translucent. They're
like
blue.
falling apart.
They were so fucking good.
Yeah.
I wish I could like just what was the supplier of that?
Well,
you know who killed it? Shell Obama.
Yeah.
Shell Obama.
Killed my cookies. Shelly, baby.
Shell Obama. But also like I was in 5th grade, probably this exact like body size. I was
no
220, 5'5". No, but I was quite a large child. I probably shouldn't have been having cookies every day.
When I was in high school, my lunchroom in high school, it was great. So I mean, as most high schools are, it was fucking huge. So they had like little lunch stands everywhere because people had like, you could eat lunch basically anywhere. So like there was like the main atrium and there was like the actual lunchroom, and that's where all of us who got free and reduced lunch would go because we had to go through the lunch line, not just the little food carts that they had.
Yeah.
Those were the rich kid things. So, but the lunch ladies in my high school, I think had like independent, like, I don't know if they did catering. I know one of them had like a barbecue sauce that you could buy in Walmart.
So they were like chefs.
They were throwing it down in there.
Good.
They were making like jambalaya, and they had like the best cornbread.
That's good.
I'm like, yeah, I don't give a shit. I
don't care what y'all think. I'm going through this lunch line.
I'm going through this, and if I could, I'd go a second time.
But that wasn't there.
That was mad good.
Sorry. I got a Windows Defender alert. Scared the shit out of me.
But yeah. So anyway, I don't know why we're talking about this.
I don't know.
But no. But that was. Listen, I know sometimes we see a lot of like what American lunches look like, but comparatively, I was like, listen. My school, this is back when we had a little more funding, right? Actually, not even, because I went to school during the recession. I went to high school during the recession.
I think you still had more funding than they do now.
Than some. Yeah, we were a big IB school, so I think we got a little more funding.
Yeah, we were an IB school too.
But our lunch was like, they were usually pretty banging. I'm a little surprised looking back on it, because like you see lunches now, right? Mm-hmm. Moving right along.
Wait.
What?
I have something to add.
Oh, please do.
I think I only stepped foot in our high school cafeteria maybe once a year, because I think that's where they gave out something. Oh, no. I was thinking yearbooks, but I don't think that was right. That's where we had to go to get our graduation caps and stuff. Our school did it so smart. Lunch was the very last thing that everyone did at the end of the day. Lunch was at like 2:20 or something. So if you wanted to stay for lunch, you could. But if you didn't want to, you could leave. That was smart. So if you needed to stay for lunch or you had to like catch a bus or something, they left like when school actually ended. But if you didn't want to stay for lunch or you didn't have any money to stay for lunch, hello, that was me. You could just fucking...
So you were like done with school by like noon?
Not noon, but pretty early. That I think it was, they budgeted like maybe half an hour for lunch. So it was just that half an hour. You could either go to lunch or don't.
That's kind of nice.
So we left.
Did your school have a sports team at all? Your high school?
Yeah.
I don't fucking know.
I think every high school has a sports team.
Yeah. Our school we started super early. Like I remember being at the bus stop like 6 a.m.
Yeah. We started at 7:05.
Yeah. So we started pretty early. And we were out pretty early too though.
Yeah.
But our lunch was like around 11. I can't remember if I know my middle school did like A and B lunch. I can't remember if my high school did. I don't think we did. I think everyone went to lunch at the same time. But either way, I remember one time in the lunchroom that's where they would do the senior breakfast. I didn't listen. My senior year in high school was pretty much non-existent because I spent the whole last year trying to make sure that I was actually going to graduate. Listen, back then, it's crazy that I'm an educator now because I wasn't a very good student back in those days. So I didn't have enough like credits to like technically be a senior until I was like playing catch up the whole time. Don't dick around in school, kids.
Don't do that.
If you're an art student, get your shit done. Don't be like me. But anyway, I didn't go to the senior breakfast. I didn't go to grad bash. I didn't go to prom. I didn't do any of that shit. So like, I feel like I was just waiting my time out and playing catch up, all the way to the very end. But hey, I graduated.
Yeah, you did it. Hey.
First member of my family to get my college degree.
Look at him.
My immediate family down here.
Yeah. There are others.
So
yeah,
I'm doing okay now.
Yeah, you're doing more than okay.
I got this podcast.
Yep.
That's all I've got.
That degree bought you this podcast.
Anyway, welcome everyone. Thank you for taking a little stroll down memory lane. All right, so in the time that we've been away, not a lot is going on other than me being sick. We've just been,
chilling.
Life has been lifing. Been chilling. So this weekend, we decided to take a little trip. We took a little trip to Disney World, Walt Disney World here in Florida.
Yeah, whenever we say like, oh, we took a little trip, it's to Disney World.
Yeah.
We live within 2.5 hours from Disney World, so we're annual pass holders. We go all the time.
In other countries, mainly the UK.
Oh, yeah, I know.
They be dogging, like...
They don't
have a concept of how big...
It's frustrating to hear it over and over again about how, like, Americans are so car dependent and, we only vacation in America and we're uncultured because of that. And, we say we live close to somewhere, but it's far away. Right. But, like, it's just, it's coming from a lack of knowledge.
Right.
Dare I say ignorance? Because, like, you could just easily look it up.
Right.
How big is the United States? Massive. I saw someone talking about how, like, oh yeah, back home, because I think he was from England. He was like, back home, 45-minute flight, I could be in France or Germany.
Right.
Or wherever the fuck. 45-minute flight, I'm still in Florida.
Yeah.
Flight. I'm still
7
here.
hours minimum just to get across the country.
Excuse me?
Like 7 hours, like when we went to California.
Oh, flight. I meant drive. Yeah, going from Florida to California was... Well, because I saw someone on TikTok say that it would take, like... I think they said, like, a full day of driving to get from one side of the country to the other. And I'm like, that's not right.
Right.
But anyway, no, yeah, it was from here to California. It was an 8-hour flight.
Right.
With, like, a small... layover in between because a
but
plane
still,
can't go that far
that's a full day's work.
Yeah.
Just traveling.
Just traveling.
So yeah, anyway, so yeah, we're in pretty drivable distance. So anytime we take a little trip, we're just like, hey, we're pass holders. Let's go to freaking Disney.
Yeah. It's like because like when you pay for a Disney pass, granted we do make monthly payments on it, but like that big payment was the first payment. And then from there, it's just free to go. If I don't pay attention to how much money they're taking out of my bank account every month, it's free.
And that's one way to approach it.
If I don't look at it.
If I don't acknowledge it.
It's free, and all I have to do is pay for the gas to get there and the hotel to stay at and the food to eat, and it's free because it doesn't count.
So anyway, we decided to take a little trip to Disney, and we went to Hollywood Studios and EPCOT. If you follow us on TikTok, you could have seen a little snippet of some of the things we did, some of the little treats we had. TikTok is a very weird place for me right now.
Why?
Well, Kendra, I will tell you why. Because there's one video of me cutting a silly little promo,
right?
Just for fun, and all of a sudden it's like at 50,000 views.
Yeah.
So
that's funny. There's also like one really funny comment.
There's also a really funny comment by someone we will not acknowledge on this podcast.
Somebody with like a really good sense of humor
and a really deep cut reference.
I wouldn't call it that deep. Did call it a Freddie Benson ass promo. And that's probably because you channeled Freddie Benson in it as you do in your everyday life, which that person who commented that only really recently figured out how Freddie Benson coded that you are.
Hey, if there's any iCarly fans out there, I'm not a big iCarly guy. I didn't grow up with it. I didn't watch it that much. I've seen it now. I've seen bits and pieces now. And I do think it's funny, but I didn't grow up with it. It wasn't my jam. But I want y'all to tell me, am I a Freddie Benson? Of all the people there are in the television world, am I a Freddie Benson? I want y'all to tell me. Is it wrong to be strong?
You are a Freddie
Benson. You be the judge. Anyway, we went during a little fun time. It was the Flower and Garden Festival at Epcot, but we didn't start there. We started at Hollywood Studios.
Yes.
And some of our favorite things to do, I mean, in any of the parks, we love to shop.
Yes.
We do love to shop.
It's like something, when we first started going to Disney, it was like, how many rides can we ride? Like, we need to make the most of it. Because I wasn't sure how long we were going to have passes for. So it was like this 1 year that we have to, like, every time we go, we have to do it big.
Right.
Now that we're like
Terror, Rock and Roller Coaster, like Mickey Minis.
We have to do as many rides as we can do. Now that we're getting older and more tired and grizzly and short-tempered, quite frankly, now when we go to, more so me than you, now when we go, it's like if there's a short line for something, we'll get in it. But for the most part, we're here to walk around, maybe watch some shows or something, eat, and shop.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
Being someone who comes from a performance background, I have a lot of friends who work at the parks because I'm also from Central Florida. So yeah, when we go, I was like, let me hit up some of my friends and be like, hey, you work in Frozen?
Working?
You work in Indiana Jones? Like, who's working? You work in Nemo?
There's one person who works there. Every time we go, we have not been able to see them perform.
I'll say her name. My beloved, my dear friend Alina. I've yet to see her perform in the parks. I've known this woman for years, and she's been working at the parks for years. She's also just an incredible human and actor, so she's always booked and blessed. So anytime I'm there, she's like, "No, I'm at this other gig," and I'm like, "Damn it!"
But we've seen like everyone else,
right? So
at Disney. So
I'm still working on it.
It's like a Pokemon.
Much love to Alina. She'll be happy to know that she's been mentioned on this.
One day we'll catch you.
Oh God, I love her. Anyway, so but we went and we decided to go hit up. We also have Galaxy's Edge here at the parks at Hollywood Studios, much like they have it out there in Disney California Isn't Disney California Adventure, or is it Disneyland proper? Do you know?
I think it's in Disneyland.
Oh.
I can't remember because we didn't go.
Yeah, we didn't bother.
We didn't go. We went to Disneyland. Years ago. We did go.
We went to get Ronto wraps.
We went to get Ronto wraps
when we went to Disneyland.
It's like the one place that's exactly the same from coast to coast. So we were like, let's not waste our time. We have 2 days here. Let's not go there.
You know what pisses me off though is that over there, because it's exactly the same, they get all sorts of fun characters.
Yeah.
They have freaking Chopper running amok, apparently.
Disneyland, okay. Are we getting into this? Should I say this? Yes. Disney World, on paper, is better than Disneyland. Don't shoot me. Hey, don't, hold on.
Hold on a second, y'all. Hold your horses.
Disneyland is the first,
OG.
It's great. So much history there. Mm-hmm. Disney World is better.
4 parks?
4 parks? Like, come on.
And water parks?
And space to grow. You guys simply can't relate. The one thing that they do, it's like they know that Disneyland is like inferior.
Right.
So they're like, okay, well, we have to give them stuff. So they have better characters. Stuff debuts there more. They have Avengers Campus, which I understand Disney World can't have because of legal reasons. But it's just like, I want some of that cool stuff here too.
Yeah, that Disney Channel night recently.
The Disney Channel night, Oogie Boogie Bash. I would pay money. I don't want to go to fucking Mickey's Spooky Halloween Spectacular, whatever it's called. I don't want to do that.
Right.
I want to go to Oogie Boogie Bash.
I want an Oogie Boogie.
I want to see that guy from Coco on his guitar.
Ernesto de la Cruz.
Yeah. I know he's a skeleton, but
that doesn't mean he's not a stud.
Anyway, but yeah, they have such cool shit over there.
Yeah. So, I mean, they debuted the Broadway musical version of Frozen was debuted there. They did Rogers the musical there. Mm-hmm.
It's like I get it. I get it.
Yeah, it's
but
fine.
That doesn't mean I'm happy about it.
Yeah, and so they had whenever they do the shows on Disney Plus, those characters tend to go out to Disneyland first, including an actual fully functional chopper droid.
Yeah.
And apparently he's a menace in real life as much as he is in the show. Like scaring kids and just running up on them.
I think one day we'll get the same. But here's the other thing. We went to Disneyland in
2022.
March? April of 2022. May? I think it was May. And I think we went when there was still school going on.
Yeah.
Purposefully. But like the crowds, nothing compared to Disney World. Nothing. So I also think we're battling with like, there's a lot of people, especially if they come from like out of the country, they're not going to go to California unless it's like significantly closer. They're going to come to Florida and go to Disney World and experience 4 parks instead of 2. So I think it'd be more difficult for us to have like walk around characters and stuff like that. Because just think of like, remember when we saw Princess Tiana in Disneyland just walking and there's just like no one around her because there was nobody there. Like you can't do that here.
Right.
There's always people everywhere all the time.
Yeah. I remember when we went to Disneyland, wasn't looking for it, but friggin' Captain Jack Sparrow just came up and started chopping it up with me. Yeah,
that was,
It was so random. It was cool though.
It was cool.
Anyway.
I'm not a big fan of, I like characters walking around. I like watching characters walk around. I do not like to participate in the performance that the characters want to rope me into. John, on the other hand, he wants a stormtrooper to talk to him. He's waiting for it. He's walking closer to them on purpose. And
acknowledge me.
I'm desperately trying to walk away. I do not want them to talk to me. Even like the Rise of the Resistance cast members, like that's a bit much for me. Yeah. Please, I'm not an improv girly. Don't drag me into
several times now in our Disney escapades. Kendra's been roped into these. The first time being at Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor, right?
I think we've told this story before. Yes. Again, Jonathan, he's an actor. He's a ham. As you guys well know by now. We're in Monsters Inc. There's 10 other people there with us. Like it's empty.
Bare minimum
to run the show. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, this is John's time to shine. They're going to ask for like audience participation. So when they're like, does anyone blah, 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 I'm like, raise your hand. And I'm like, no, I shouldn't. Because he's like, I was trained for this and it's not going to be fair. And I'm trying to get him to raise his hand. And then they called me out. The person trying to make the other person raise it. Fuck. No, I don't want to do it. It's not like oh no, I don't want to do it. No, thank you. I don't want to do it.
So then this last weekend, when we went to Hollywood Studios, again, because it is a Saturday, so it's a little busy. Hollywood Studios is a smaller park, so it feels fuller faster. And so, a bunch of the lines are relatively, kind of their normal on the longer side of wait times. So the shortest one that we usually do every time we go to Star Tours, right?
We love Star Tours.
Star Tours. Will not accept any Star Tours slander here on this page.
Right. Star Tours is criminally underrated.
And underappreciated.
Yes.
So, super excited for the new scenes coming up. So anyway, we go. And this was a whole adventure and a half, right? So let's start toward the end where we're on the actual ride.
Yes.
And again, every time I go on, I hope that I'm the spy.
Yeah.
For those, that's the kind of the story is that there's a spy on board, and Star Tours is like they have to help get them to where they need to go, right?
And in the beginning, they put a picture up of the spy. They're like, oh, we're looking for this criminal, and it's a picture of someone on your ride.
Right.
Typically, because I don't know if anyone's aware, but Disney parks are for children, made for children. So typically they're like, let's make a child's day. So they put a picture of a child up. But John, every time he's like, I
really hope I'm a fucking spy.
And I told you this time, because I think you said it out loud.
Yeah.
And I was like, they're not going to pick you on account of you're 30.
Right.
So don't get your fucking hopes up. We get the ride going. We're looking for this spy. Imagine this. Imagine this. Me. Picture me, just like this. Just excited to ride the fucking ride. Luckily, we were at half capacity on that ride because someone was bitching about the lines. We'll get back to that. We were at half capacity, so luckily there wasn't a lot of people. But I was just immediately, I was like, oh, shit. That's me, that's me up there. Fuck.
So Kendra has now done two things at the parks that I've wanted to do.
That should be for children.
That should be for children.
I thought it was safe. If I would look around and I'd be like, there's a bunch of old people here.
Right.
Being people our age. Oh no, maybe this is the time that John's it's finally, because he's sitting there very clearly he wants to do it. There were children on there and they still picked me.
Yeah.
And it was the worst, most unflattering picture of I'm so glad they only put it on the screen for 5 seconds.
She was
I looked so excited to be on Star. I looked so happy to be on Star Tours, and I was until that moment. Fuck. But then later, Poe Dameron was like, we're looking for the spy. They're really important to the mission. And I was like, that's me. Damn right, that's me. Fuck all these little kids.
Anyway, so the reason why we think Kendra was actually picked.
Yes, there's
and
lore.
Not the children let's go back to when we first decided to go on the ride. It's a 25-minute wait time. Now, those of you who are familiar, that ride is normally a 5-minute,
5-10 minute, yeah.
It's usually a walk-on.
Yeah.
Because the ride's been there for so long. Everyone's trying to go on Rise. Everyone's trying to go on Tower of Terror.
Yeah.
Anything else that's
underrated.
Yeah. So this time around, it was 25 minutes, which is longer than it is normally, but still, for Disney,
it wasn't
not a long.
Nor was it a full 25 minutes, no. I'll say.
So we get there. We're going through the queue, and we finally get to the point where the cast member is like, okay, there's 2 lines formed, one's for Lightning Lane, one's for the standby, right? And so we're waiting to be let through to the standby line. And as we're there, we're right next to the cast member. As we're there, we had just walked up.
Yeah. It was a complete walk on up to this point.
Right. And so we're simply standing there waiting. Everyone's just waiting to get on. And we see this woman. She comes up to this poor cast member who's probably he's helped what? 10,000 people at this point, right? And she's like, I just want to let you know there was 50 people that just went ahead of us, and none of them were Lightning Lane.
So here's the thing. We had just shown up, so she could very well be telling the truth.
Right.
Right? But again, from the moment we walked in to the moment we honestly probably left the ride, shorter than 25 minutes. So my guess is that she wasn't standing there for very long. But she got out of line to come back to the cast member and was like, 50 people went ahead of us. None of them are lightning lane. And then she went back to the rest of her group. I think her husband was there, and she had 2 kids. And I'm watching all of this go down like a hawk because I'm here for the gossip. And I want to know what's going on.
Right.
Plus, I don't know, sometimes I'm like, do I have to jump into this cast member's like defense? Because they can't brawl verbally or otherwise on the job. But I can like step in and be like, hey, you're being like, could you, this, again, park for kids. Could you maybe like go relax with your kids instead of setting a horrible example for them? And again, maybe she was sitting there for an hour and a half and we just rocked up and happened to be right behind their group. But I don't know. But then, so where we were, there are 2 lines when you go into the ride. And then there's a cutoff point where we hit a turn and it continues into 2 lines. But after that cutoff point, those 2 lines are not separated by lightning lane and other. They're mixed. Up until that checkpoint with the cast member, that's when they're separated. But then they just put you wherever. So there's a left and right side of the line that feed into left and right sides of the attraction. People on the right side do not get their glasses, make a left turn, and go to those ride vehicles. Whatever side you're on is the side of the theater, basically, that you're going to be on. Mm-hmm. So the reason that one side's going faster is because these rides are emptying faster. Maybe there's an issue with one of the rides on the other side. I don't know. But that's why. And granted, if you don't go there all the time and are annoying like us, maybe you don't know that.
Right.
But I mean, the first interaction you have about it is like, it wasn't like aggression, but it was like already upset.
Right.
This person already thought that something was happening, like something negative was happening to them, when that wasn't the case.
Right.
It was just that there was like something was caught up. Maybe someone like puked on the ride. Right. And they were cleaning it on the right side. Maybe, I don't know what happened, but there's an explanation beyond just like, oh, we just like don't like you.
Right.
The right side's not going because we don't like you. Like, what do you think is happening?
It was just the poor cast member was just trying to explain like,
he's like, there's
what you said, like the lines at some point are gonna merge, and I don't know why one side of the line is moving and the other, and she's like, well, they're not lightning lane and they're moving into the lightning lane. And he's like, that they shouldn't be doing that.
What
like,
she said, which is quite a bold statement. She was like, the cast members up ahead think that the left lane is the lightning lane, so they're just letting them all go. You don't think that the people up front know how the ride works? This man's trying to say there's no lightning lane after where I'm at. The lightning lane is gone. It's just, and the lady's like, well, they're confused up there. That is quite the assumption that the like 8 cast members that are actually loading people on, they're all confused about it.
Right.
It was just like, do you really think that you know more than the people who are actively working here?
Right.
Anyway, so we get put into the same line, and then we get put into the same ride vehicle.
Yeah.
And they had split up this family. 2 were in the front, 2 were in the back.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
John didn't know that.
And I'm sitting here.
Because we walked up, and it was like almost immediately like, watch your step and go into the ride. Usually you wait and you have to watch this whole like animated thing, and you have to watch the whole like caution thing or like rules play. But it was like as soon as we walked up, they didn't even wait to fill every seat. They put us in immediately, I think because we were with the people who complained.
Yeah.
But yeah, so wife and one kid was in front, husband and other kid was right behind us.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Were right behind us. And John said, and like 50 people moved. And I was like, John, shut the fuck up. John, shut up. And you're like, what? Yeah. And I was like, they're right next to us. Yeah, and John was like, oh, whatever. Oh my God. John's trying to get kicked out of Disney, I swear to God.
I'm not trying to get kicked out of Disney. They're trying to get kicked out of Disney by getting their asses kicked by me. And then we go on to the ride, and he was like, and this, I love him so much. Oh, he's the love of my life. You be talking so loud. Oh, I see them. They're in the front.
Oh my God, John. Oh my God. I said, John.
I did not do that loud. I did not do it that loud.
The husband's behind us. Oh. Oh, I hate you.
I didn't do it that loud.
Oh, they're in front of us. Oh, that bitch and her stupid kid are in front. I see them. God damn. Anyway,
she spoke to me. Did you see that?
When I lost my glasses?
Yeah.
What'd she say?
Her nosy ass. This is why I don't feel bad.
What happened?
Her nosy ass, because they're like.
Okay, so what?
Yeah.
So what happened
you set up the story.
Okay, so then I got my comeuppance for being nosy, and at the end of the ride, I had my sunglasses in one hand and the 3D glasses in the other hand, and I wasn't thinking. And when we walked out, and I put my glasses in the thing, I looked down and I was like, oh. These are the 3D glasses and not my sunglasses. I had put my sunglasses.
And other people are still throwing their 3D glasses in there. So
yeah, I put my sunglasses in the 3D glasses thing. So I was like, okay. And I just dumpster dove for them and I just started digging in the thing for them.
So while she's doing that, other people, they're like, oh my God, what happened?
I threw my baby in here. Oh no.
So, and I'm just, I'm taking part of the blame because that's the type of person I am. I'm like,
it was very sweet. We threw our glasses.
Oh, we threw our glass. We accidentally threw one of our sunglasses in there. Like, it's okay. That's fine. And so, people are coming by, and here, old 50 people lady comes by. Oh, what happened? And I was like, oh, it's okay. We just threw our 3D. We just threw our sunglasses in their bags. And and then I was like,
what?
Ew.
What?
Like what? Ew, why did you need to know that?
I wasn't there for that. But granted, like, knowing me, and I'm nosy too, I would probably also be like, I don't know if I'd ask, but I'd be like, what happened there?
But if that's if you're gonna ask.
But if you're like, oh, what did you think was happening?
Even if it was like oh man, that sucks. Like, that makes more sense. Just be like, oh, that's not interesting. I'm gonna leave.
I'm really curious what she would have considered an interesting story. Maybe a baby. I threw my baby in there by accident. Thought it was a pair of sunglasses.
She probably threw a fucking kid in there at one point.
Anyway, if you were that woman, listen. You know what, John? We have to lead with kindness.
Yes.
That could have been like their only day.
True.
At Hollywood Studios. They could have been like, we have a dinner reservation or lunch reservation to go to, and we're seemingly being passed over by all these people. I get it, but also, again, lead with kindness and maybe ask questions instead of demanding answers. You know what I mean?
Right. And I think that's where yes, you are correct. And maybe I am being a little too judgmental because we do have what's the word I'm looking for? Privilege of going to these parks multiple times throughout the year, right?
Yeah.
Probably more than multiple times. Not really possible, right? But we go quite a bit.
Yeah.
We go quite often.
A lot of people do not.
So you're right on that. But even as we were walking through the park, like, our interactions, we even talked about it at the parks. We make such a conscious effort to, like, be kind and pleasant and hopefully even brighten the cast members' day because they have to deal with so much.
Yeah, we see, like, 20 seconds of some cast members' entire day. Like, we were at Woody's Lunchbox eating delicious Lunchbox tarts.
Choice Starland's cool, but we went to that little restaurant and they had the best snacks. Yeah, they have good snacks there. Sorry, had a little hiccup. Yeah. And there's one cast member whose job is to, like, not have people enter through the exit because it's not clearly marked. The whole time we were there, maybe 10 minutes while we ate. Sorry, this is the exit. You can actually go to the entrance over there. Sorry, you can go. People are so fucking rude. You did have your people who were like, oh, I'm sorry, thank you. Yeah. You gotta go this way. And there were people who just, like, didn't even look at this person. Just, like, it was just really sad to see, like, people were so rude. Yeah. Luckily, no one was like, I'm going in anyway. Oh, there was one woman who was like, my table's right there. Yeah, my table's right there. Like, I just had to get him into the bathroom and back. Ew. Like why? Okay. Watch how you speak. It's like a tone thing, I think. Yeah. Just a tone thing. Anyway, so it was a crazy experience. We saw someone, like, bitching to a cast member, and then 2 minutes later I was the fucking spy, and then 2 minutes after that I threw my sunglasses and the glasses return. That said, there was another family who was helping us actually look for it. It was a man.
That was very nice. Yeah.
They were very kind.
Afterwards, I don't think we didn't really know what to say. So he said, "Thank you for your support."
Yeah.
Like we were politicians. That was funny.
And he was like, "Yeah, no problem." And it was like, you know, they didn't like dig their hands in there. They didn't need to.
No.
But they were just keeping an eye out to see
Yeah.
like, oh, what. So that was very. So we kind of got the both ends there, right?
Yeah.
We got to see someone do something very nice, but also.
Oh yeah, that's always how it is. The dichotomy of Disney. You see some of like the rudest, most horrible people, and then you see like the most beautiful moments.
But anyway, all that to say, we spent quite a bit of time in Galaxy's Edge, before and after Star Tours. Mm-hmm. Y'all, I didn't know this until we went this most recent time. Y'all know we love a Ronto wrap in Disneyland. That's literally the only reason why we went to Galaxy's Edge was to get a Ronto wrap. It's like this. It's like a glorified hot dog.
It's
like in a pita bread, and it's got like.
It's
slaw.
a hot dog, pita bread.
I think it's got ham. Yeah.
Slaw.
Yeah.
And then like some kind of sauce. Oh,
it's delicious. I didn't know this. They make a breakfast version.
They make 2 breakfast versions.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But they have a breakfast version. So I was like, well, we got to go. Because I was like, all right, we either get breakfast at the hotel, but because it's a park hotel, you got to pay for it. It's not like included.
Oh, yeah. It wasn't complimentary.
So we're just like, if we're going to buy it, then we might as well just go to the parks, right? So they had a breakfast Ronto wrap. And y'all, I was like, as soon as I was done munching down, I told Kendra, I don't know if I might prefer this version over the original version, over the lunch version.
Well, here's the thing. I think they have like breakfast versions of a lot of our favorite foods. Or they have breakfast, just period, in the park. The problem is that we're never there early enough. Right. Breakfast ends at 11. We always rock up at like 12.
Yeah, we don't. We tried toward the beginning of our Disney pass holdership.
Yeah, or if we go with other people, like when we went with my mom. Yeah. My mom, love her. She wanted to do Epcot, basically rope drop to like the fireworks show.
Yeah, she wanted to rope drop coast to coast.
Is that what that means?
Go from big open to close.
Is that what that means? Did you know in Run Disney there's a coast to coast race where you race one day in Florida and then you get on a flight and you race the next day in California?
Oh my God, no, I didn't know that.
Or it might be within one weekend. Maybe it's not day after, but yeah,
Jesus Christ.
People have done that. Anyway, but yeah, so like when we went with my mom, we did it. Oof, that was rough. But like again, we go so often, there's no reason for us to be up that early, right. Unless it's specifically to get a breakfast food, which is what we did.
Or to like try and get if we're going to Epcot and we want to ride Guardians.
Well, I get up early and then I go back to sleep.
Oh, true. So anyway, so we went. That was delicious. So if you're ever there early enough to get some breakfast, I highly recommend the morning Ronto wrap. Mm-hmm. It's got a little folded omelet in there in place of the ham. Still has delicious sauce in there. It was really good. I really liked it. Kendra got these overnight oats.
They were good. That was a lot of oat. They were dense.
Yeah, but it had like dragon fruit and...
It was perfect because I don't like big breakfast like first thing in the morning. I need to be up for at least like an hour or two before I have breakfast. Right. So it was nice to have something like light, what I thought would be light and like fruit heavy first thing in the morning, but I could only finish half of them. John had to eat the rest.
I did. I hoovered it. I had that and one of my favorite coffees at Disney, the Black Calf cold brew.
You've probably seen it on social media. It's the one that has like
Cocoa
Pebbles.
Not Cocoa Puffs. It did have Cocoa Pebbles once. I think there was a supply issue and they didn't have Cocoa Puffs, so they put Cocoa Pebbles on it.
Well, now it has Cocoa Puffs.
But they're back to tried and true. It's delicious. I love it. Mm-hmm. Then we went to Woody's Lunchbox over in Toy Story Land.
We got Lunchbox. So what happened was that we went to Walt Disney World, as we're one to do, but my sister and my brother-in-law went to the Strawberry Festival in Florida, in Plant City. So to their own demise and misfortune, they were like, well, send us your food pictures of the day and we'll, see who wins. Stupid. They didn't know we were going to Epcot.
Fools.
They didn't know we were going to Oga's Cantina. Stupid. So then we accidentally suddenly found ourselves in a food off. So then we were like, whatever. Anything we considered even maybe getting, we're going to get it today.
Right. Now.
So then it kind of turned into a food trip.
Right. Then we did finally get to Oga's Cantina. Mm-hmm. And
they have a new cocktail on the menu at Oga's Cantina.
And it's called the Dagobah Slug Slinger. Mm-hmm. Y'all.
Delicious.
This was one of the most delicious drinks I've had there. I've had a couple of their drinks now.
Yeah.
And it was a relatively hot day at the parks. The high was 87.
Yeah.
And it had like ginger and herbs.
Oh yeah, the herbs was just like 2 sprigs of rosemary just sticking out of the drink, tickling your nose every time you drank out of it.
But and it had some citrus flavors in there.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all, it was
so good,
so refreshing and so good. I was like, damn, I could pound like 30 of these.
Yeah,
that's a lie. But
I'm someone who I don't like the taste of alcohol. I don't know why anyone does. It's disgusting. I loved that drink.
It was so good.
Really
so if you're ever at the parks, if you happen to find your way to Oga's Cantina, make a reservation. That's what they don't tell you.
They do tell you that.
They do tell you that. But
but you can do walk up, and it seemed like we were right next to like the walk up, like where you order and stuff. I think there's a wait list for the walk up, but it seems like they're making more of an effort to get people in through the walk up. I think you get your menu outside.
Yeah.
So by the time you come in, you already know what you want. You order it, you pay for it, you fuck off, basically. Which I think is really, really smart. Gives more people an opportunity to at least just see inside. If you don't want to stay, you get like 45 minutes if you do a reservation. And when I booked our reservations last week, there were so much open. So I think they're doing a little better with like making sure more and more people can actually have access to all of these food spots in the park.
Yeah. So from there, we decided, all right, cool. We did our Oga's Cantina. Let's go ahead and
we ate dinner at Oga's Cantina.
Did I say dinner?
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't have dinner.
We had drinks only. We had drinks
food at Oga's. We went over to we took the Skyliner over to Epcot, and it was the Flower and Garden Festival. Yes. Epcot does their festivals. Love them all.
The last time we went to Epcot was a few weeks ago. It was during the Arts and Farts. I think we actually talked about it. It was during Arts and Farts, but it rained the whole day.
Yeah, so it wasn't much of a time.
Yeah, it wasn't very fun. Well, it was fun, but it wasn't like a full experience. So we were like, okay, let's go take 2. At least this time it's something new to see because of all the flower garden stuff.
Yeah.
And also they recently, I think relatively recently, maybe start of the new year recently, changed their park hopping rules. So before you couldn't park hop before 2, and it was subject to availability. So now you can just park hop whenever.
Right.
And I don't think if you have single day passes or like single day tickets, you no longer have to do a reservation, which is nice. And then if you have park hopping on your ticket, you can just park hop to wherever, whenever.
Right.
For us, we still have to make a reservation. Blah blah blah. But always make sure that you're looking up if you happen to be going to Disney anytime soon and you haven't been in a while. Look up, like, they have a lot of information on the Disney Experience app, My Disney Experience app. Just make sure you're like well acquainted with all of the most recent rules, because something that you did 3 months ago when you came might not be a thing anymore.
Right.
And it's always changing and it's hard to keep up with. I had to double check the park hopping rules before we went because I couldn't remember when that change was made.
Right.
Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. So we went to the Flower Garden Festival. Now, one thing I love about their festivals, even if it's not food and wine,
it's food related.
I think because of food and wine is so popular now for these festivals, all of them have these really cool, or at least creative, menu items at all their, at all their little food spots.
There's not much else to do.
Yeah, I mean,
besides walk and eat. So
well, that's why I'm glad that they do it now.
Yeah.
That there's more of an effort and focus on that stuff because it's such a limited park anyway.
Yeah.
So we tried a few new things there. A lot of impossible options.
Which makes sense for like
Flower garden.
Yeah, plant-based food, plant-based.
But I want the meat.
I just have an issue with impossible meat. Not like
I like impossible meat.
Not politically, not morally.
Taste-wise. Taste, texture. Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah.
But there was some cool things we had. I think one of the highlights that we had was that we had the liquid nitro honey mascarpone cheesecake. Mm-hmm. That's the whole title of it.
Yeah.
That delicious.
Was good. Yeah, we had a lot of sweets that day. Yeah. That was like the last sweet thing we had, and I only had a couple spoonfuls, but it was delicious.
Yeah. I had this peanut butter and jelly soft serve swirl. They served it in a cup, and with a waffle cone on top. They call it a party hat. I thought that was adorable. I liked it. I like peanut butter though.
I didn't even try it because it didn't look appetizing to me.
It was pretty good.
We had fruit sushi from Japan, which is there I think every year.
Yeah.
But it's one of my favorites. I love fruit sushi.
They also had this watermelon strawberry lemonade.
Yes, also from Japan. Delicious.
So good.
Delicious.
I'm trying to think of what else we had while we were there. We did have a lot of sweets, so we were trying to
It was mostly sweet.
Mostly sweets.
I don't know if we had anything else. I can't remember.
Yeah.
We had a lot at Hollywood Studios.
Yeah. So we, again, just kind of walked around, moseyed around. We were on the hunt for some items in particular, but then gave up halfway through because we're like, that's far. It's hot.
Yeah, we were looking for, I wanted to find the new Groot ears, and my friend wanted me to find the Artist Series Avengers ears, if any of you are also on the hunt for those. So we looked while we were in Hollywood Studios, and they had removed all of their Avengers stuff. Like, all of their Marvel stuff was gone.
Yeah.
Which was bizarre. And the cast members said that a lot of that stuff got redistributed because the one park that has, like, actual Marvel presence is EPCOT.
Right.
And other than that, it's just Disney Springs. So I think if we went to Disney Springs, we probably could have found both of those things. But we weren't going to drive all the way the fuck to Disney Springs.
Yeah, not today.
Not that day. Yeah,
not today either.
But it's always fun. It's way more fun, I think, shopping when you have one specific thing that you're trying to find, because it's more like a scavenger hunt.
Right.
Ooh, I keep hitting the table. I apologize. Halfway through it, listen, I can't do 2 parks in a day like that. Our old bones simply can't. And I was wearing my Tevas for the first time in like a year.
Right.
Oh my God, my fucking feet were killing me. I had so much sugar and like no food, no actual food.
Right. So we were just like, I think it's time to...
We gotta go.
Get on out of here. But yeah, I figured... I know we hadn't recorded in a hot minute, so... and it's something that we talk about, but we don't really ever go like... In depth about what those experiences are like. And just kind of some of our favorite things to do. And things you can do while you're there. Yeah, so I think maybe as we go, maybe we'll make a little bit more of a concentrated effort. That's why I wanted to do like the TikTok that kind of showed. So if you go to our TikTok, you can actually see some of the food items and drink items that we were talking about, as well as some of the just what we spent our time walking around and looking at. Some of my favorite things. Anytime we're in Galaxy's Edge, I like to go by the Millennium Falcon just because it's massive and it's beautiful and it's my favorite thing. One of my favorite things, because I'm one of those people that every time I go, I just kind of like, I'm just looking at amazement. And especially for something like that, you know, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. So seeing other people who are like these big Star Wars fans just completely immerse themselves, whether they're adults or kids, you know, just they're getting their lightsabers and their Jedi robes. And it's really cool. So just seeing the appreciation from other people is also just a joyous part of the Disney experience, right? So I think maybe making a little bit more of a concentrated effort. And also, I mean, we go enough, you know, not that we're trying to be like Disney influencers or anything like that, but just, you know, I don't know. I feel like
it's a big part of our lives.
Yeah. So
we don't talk about it very much. Well, we do, but not a lot.
Yeah. I figured maybe talking about it might be a little fun. We have a quick 5 minutes left. So one thing we didn't get to do while we were on our way to Disney.
We tried.
We tried. I don't know what the beef is, but we couldn't watch Smackdown on Friday night, so we were a little late to the party. So we do a quick, super quick recap of what happened on Friday Night Smackdown. Some interesting things of note. I want to shout out Bailey, Damage Control, EO Sky, all of them. They are making so much of the very limited time they've had on TV, and I understand it. You've got such this huge storyline with the Bloodline, Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, The Rock, right? I get it. Unfortunately, as much as I love it, as much as I love The Rock, a lot of this is coming at the expense of others, right? And it's just kind of the business. I get it. So I want to shout them out for making the most of it. Now it seems like Naomi and Bianca Belair are kind of brought into the fold in this a little bit.
Which is interesting.
Which is interesting that Naomi's part of it.
Yes.
Again, I do fully believe that Mercedes Moné is going to debut at AEW, whether that's for a one for like a very limited run. I could see that potentially happening.
When is that happening? That match that everyone thinks she's going to be at?
Everyone thinks it's going to happen at AEW Big Business. It's in Boston.
When is that?
I don't remember off the top of my head.
Damn it. Because I feel like I've been hearing about her going to AEW for like 4 months.
I still believe that. I now believe that that's where she's going to wind up, but we'll see, right? Okay. I just think it's interesting that the teaming of Naomi and Bayley potentially is something, right? And seeing where Bianca Belair falls into it. Is she going to go full Drew McIntyre and like go from face to heel because of what Bayley's past actions, right?
I cannot see her as any heel.
I don't want her as a heel.
I don't think she would be.
We also have Legado del Fantasma versus LWO continuing on. Looks like Dragon Lee's back in the mix. Though, I will say, LWO did not come out to help Dragon Lee at all. So, don't think I didn't notice that. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see what that turns out to be. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that.
I'm just happy to be here.
I'm just happy to be here.
Watching these two teams. Love them. I'm having a great time.
She has a type, y'all. There's a new Prime sponsorship for...
That's not real, right?
I think it is. I think we're going to start seeing that. And I think it makes... I'm going to say 2 things. Am I a fan of it? I don't love the idea, but I think we'll probably see more brands do that. It's so super similar to what we see in like UFC and boxing matches where there's sponsorship in ring anyway. So I wouldn't be surprised. They're already kind of doing that with like the LED like stuff.
but that's outside.
I know. So it's going to take some time to get used to.
I thought that was just a hee hee ha ha little joke.
It might be, but I don't think it is. I think that's a very real thing. Unless they make it part of the story where they rip it off and like hit someone with it. I don't know.
It was also just like a really low quality sticker.
Yeah.
So if they're going to do it, maybe let's spend some money on it.
Right. So not sure how I feel about that. Would love to hear what y'all feel about that.
I will say.
Yeah, please.
Sorry. During that segment, KSI did very cleanly take an RKO. I was pretty impressed by that. Because I've seen some really bad...
He was probably a wrestling fan.
I think he maybe... I feel like he's involved so much without ever really being involved.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it seems like... He's really excited every time. He
probably volunteered to take an RKO.
He probably did because he didn't truly need to be there.
No.
Although he is like an equal partner. I think he's an equal partner in Prime.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like Logan Paul's company. I think it's both of theirs.
Yeah, I think so too. And I love that Randy put his body in
over
place
the
of the
logo.
eye. Yeah.
And I think I mentioned like, do you think that they're gonna have KSI train and become a possible tag team partner to Logan Paul?
Possibly. And we'll have more to say on this next part in whenever we record our next episode. But the Bloodline storyline with Cody, Seth, and The Rock continues to get more and more interesting. Their WrestleMania tag team match is official, but the question now is, did Cody Rhodes want it to be official?
Yeah, I
on Monday Night Raw, I would have said yes.
Yeah.
But based on his reaction on SmackDown,
seem super happy.
Now, again, those of you following us on TikTok, excuse me. I made a video a few weeks back talking about how I'm one of those people. There's a popular theory going around right now that Seth Rollins is going to betray Cody Rhodes in some way or fashion. Right? Did I say white? I meant to say right. So I think... I don't know, maybe I'm just making it up in my head, but after it was Seth Rollins was the one to officially accept the match. And Cody Rhodes was kind of looking at them like, almost like, hey, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So I thought that was very interesting. They flipped what Cody Rhodes was trying to do before, he asked Roman, oh, are you going to let him speak for you? Are you allowed to make that choice because you acknowledged him as your tribal chief, blah, blah, blah. And now they flipped it like, oh, you're going to let Seth Rollins answer for you?
Yeah.
Blah, blah. So I thought all that was super interesting. So to me, that's still... I mean, if you think about it, you asked a really great question during SmackDown when we watched it. a day later.
Did I?
Yeah, you asked, is The Rock like the new Mr. McMahon type character?
Because The Rock's saying shit like, I'm your boss. I can take away this championship.
Right.
You're pissing off your boss.
So what's two big WrestleMania things to happen? If you think about WrestleMania 17, Stone Cold aligned with the McMahons to beat The Rock at WrestleMania. So, and I'm not saying, I know obviously, the point being that someone joining an authority like that, and Seth Rollins has done that. He joined the authority with Triple H and Randy Orton and all them to betray the Shield, right? That guy, no, right? So, I don't know. I don't think it's out of the question. And I don't know. I still think the seeds are being planted for a potential Seth Rollins
There's
mega
so much. It's like choose your own adventure. There's so many different paths that this match can take. Right. You also have Damian Priest just
looming in the background,
waiting. Is he going to factor in?
Yeah.
Even if they do, even if no one betrays anyone, at least on the first night.
Right.
Who wins? Who do we think's winning that first night? Because that is going to impact night 2. Who wins for, like, there are so many branches in this timeline.
I also think it depends on, like, what night are they doing Rollins and McIntyre? They haven't said that yet.
And that would have to be the second day, right?
Fuck if I know if Rock is trying to get that title off of Seth. Yeah. I don't know. I truly don't know. So, but that's the fun part right now about wrestling.
Yeah.
So hopefully, I know The Rock's supposed to be on SmackDown next week. So hopefully after that we get a little more time to cook with some of these other stories, particularly Bayley and Io Sky. I know Bayley's having a match with Dakota Kai soon. So we'll see.
Talk about crazy betrayals.
Yeah, I know.
John called it the whole time, though. Yeah. He knew it.
So we'll see. But we'd love to hear what y'all think. And yeah, I think that's all we got for this time around.
Yeah, we talked about Disney a lot more than I thought we were.
Yeah, but that's okay. That's okay.
That's fine. That's fine.
We couldn't leave without talking a little bit of WWE with y'all.
Of course.
So thank y'all for listening. Thank y'all for checking us out. If you enjoy what you're listening to, please hit the follow button wherever you are listening to. If you're on YouTube watching this, please hit subscribe. And if you're not already, please follow us on all the various socials. You see it right here on the screen. If not, you're listening to this, Instagram, TikTok, everywhere, just wherever.
At PerezPeriodico, everywhere.
At PerezPeriodico. And don't be. That's not what I meant to say. Huh. Don't forget as well that we have our live streams that we do on Twitch. We haven't done one in a minute because the last one we did was for Elimination Chamber. We do pre-previews where we talk about our WWE-centric stream. God, I can't talk today. I've recorded a whole other podcast before this. It's our WWE-centric stream where we talk about the PLEs. We make predictions about the card and just kind of what we want to see, right? And then the next one we have coming up, well, we have one coming up for WrestleMania. We may or may not do a live episode of Ringside. We talked about that, but yeah, we'll see. But if we do, follow us on social media to get those announcements, as well as on Twitch to be notified of anytime we go live. And I think that's about it.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Woo! Woo! We have to go grocery shopping.
Yeah, we got some errands to run. Then I gotta come chop this up, put it online. It's a whole thing. So thank y'all. Appreciate y'all. And we'll see y'all for the next one.
Thank you.
Peace.
Bye.